an evening of learning. And we are glad to host none other than Mr. Rogers Mbaziira, a very resourceful speaker, transformational, and you can call him a learning and development specialist. And he does quite a number of things that he will be sharing with us as we go through the session. But I'll just say that Mr. Rogers is a coach and speaker. He also does some work as a human resource consultant, as a youth empowerment champion. He's also a father, he's a social entrepreneur, quite a number of things. He's running some work as a project coordinator, empowering youth through data and community development projects. And he has had some other previous experiences. He's also a Rotarian, and he's done businesses. He's the CEO for Munchies Snacks, among other things. And tonight, he's a mindset change trainer, and will be taking us through the journey of how our minds can be able to think better. So I want to welcome you, Mr. Rogers. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. And I look forward to the sharings. You're most welcome.
Thank you, Coach Samuel. First of all, I want to thank you for the invitation. But also, I want to thank people that have joined us today. You know, sometimes a Friday is a chill day. People want to go and rest, but it's good to be here. And it's good to be on the platform to share what I know basically. And I hope it can help serve someone out there. I see Stephen in there, Makande, I see Ruth, and everyone. Thanks for joining. Like I've been introduced, I'm a mindset change trainer. I've worked with youth at different levels to make sure that they're empowered to be able to do to start something to earn a living. But you all well know, in the works that I do as a youth programs coordinator under different projects, it's not that we don't have opportunities in the country, but it's just because the way we look at things when it comes to doing the mindset. So when I was invited to come and speak to the entire to the group, I thought about mindset as a key thing, and I want to share briefly if I can ask members here, what do you understand by mindset? Anyone to give us an answer?
Rogers, are you able to put on your camera, or you have some challenge? Okay.
I think I'm okay.
Yes.
So guys,
Thank you so much.
what do you think? What is a mindset? Someone to give us an answer. Yeah, for us to keep time, briefly, a mindset is basically the way we think. It's how you look at things. How do you look at the world, but how important, how do you look at things surrounding you? Mindset is the lens through which you see challenges and opportunities. So whatever you're thinking, it could be intentional or unintentional, but the most important thing, guys, is that we are living with a mindset. Now it's upon us to prepare ourselves, to prepare the mindset that we want to operate at. Now, I've always told people that we take choices, either intentional or unintentional, meaning we can take choices even when we don't know that we are taking choices. But let's say I'm a professional at a workplace. What kind of mindset do I go with at a mindset and at a workplace, for example? let me give you the genesis of what it looks like when you're starting a new job. So you go through school and you go through all the levels, primary, secondary, university, then you graduate, or maybe you stopped at a certain level somewhere, maybe form 4, maybe form 3, and you have been desperately looking for a job. And so when you get a job, of course, the obvious reasons that's why you've been looking for a job is to basically make money or to earn a living, to be able to afford your basic needs, or to go even higher in life to be able to support your family and so on and so on. So now what happens as professionals? Yes, the success looks like this for someone who doesn't have a job. Success looks like when I get a job, that will be success. Now, the mindset that takes you to a job is if I get a job, it will be okay. And so when we get into our workplaces as professionals, we tend to relax. Now that I have a job, now it's over. I've been really hustling to get my meals, my upkeep, my basic needs be sorted, my rent, my food, my clothing, and everything. So one thing I've noticed that when we get jobs, we all tend to relax. It's like now we have reached the hallmark of what we are looking for. And so what brings that is the mindset. And most of us, when we come to these workplaces, we start seeing ourselves as we cannot add on anything anymore. But today I want to ask you, what kind of mindset are you operating at? But remember, before we go ahead, remember, there is a choice we all have to make. We either make these choices intentionally or we stand still, do nothing about the choices, but we are doing the choices. I don't know whether I'm being understood. So, mindset is the lens through which you see challenges and opportunities. And, and friends, we have two types of mindset. We have the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. Now, someone with a fixed mindset believes they are static, you know, they believe their abilities are static. So you got a job and yeah, in Uganda, we say you no longer add on anything, you know. You wake up every day by 6 a.m., you start to brush your teeth, do everything, then rush to the job. You are there full time. You are there to work from morning up to the time when you clock out. So you believe this is the particular task. Let's say if I'm an accountant, I'm sorry to demonstrate with accountants, but your assignment is particularly what you really zeal into from 8 a.m. to 5 a.m. until you close. And so you don't think about anything, but you think about maybe you are given a job description, you have targets to hit, and so that is what drives you every day. So someone with a fixed mindset, they believe their abilities are static, and two, they avoid challenges. Three, two, you avoid challenges, but three, you always fear failure. Now, what happens most of us sometimes because you're a professional, you're trying to do something, even in business, I've always seen people who say, for example, if you find someone that's been running a business a certain way, they are used to it, they have been making some bit of money, so they fear to test what has not been tested, which is not bad, but if you fear failure in most cases, you know, that's one of the indicators that you have a fixed mindset. Then two, you feel your abilities are stuck somewhere. And I'm sorry to say, most of us here are educated people. I've seen so many people who go back to school to do maybe a PhD, maybe a master's, but they have not really thought about deeply themselves, about their skills, their abilities. And so they think that maybe by doing a master's degree, my abilities will be increased. Yet literally, it doesn't really actually reflect because these abilities are within us. So, but I want actually you friends to us to have a growth mindset. Now, when you have a growth mindset, and this is what I ask people to really have at their workplaces, when you're given a job, try to think beyond the job. Try to be creative. Try to be innovative. Try to be a different person. Forget about the 8 a.m., the 5 p.m. rhythm. Can you think outside the box? Can you have a growth mindset? For example, if I'm a teacher and I've been assigned a role to teach students, how far can I go? What can I do better? One of the trainers, one of the mentors told me that if you're given, let's say you're a leader somewhere or a manager or somewhere, you've been given a job, make sure that something changes. He told me, in fact, he told me one time that if the table has been looking at a certain direction, you can definitely change it to look at a certain direction. Then people realize, yes, this individual is now different and he has a mindset that really looks at life in a different style, you know? So it is important for us to develop a growth mindset. And what a growth mindset looks like, sees abilities as adaptable. You can learn new skills. You can do new things differently. You can, people with a growth mindset embrace challenges as part of growth. People with the growth mindset are always there learning from failures. Now, if you don't take failures as part of the journey for you to learn, then you are having a very hard time uh, growing yourself as an individual and professionally. So it becomes really a very big challenge because life has a way it will treat you if you don't have a growth mindset. Now, members on this call today, I want to first of all ask you that you must each and every day you wake up, you must ask yourself, am I operating at a growth mindset, or am I having a fixed mindset? You know, so you must clearly understand that a fixed mindset will never take you anywhere. But when you apply, when you see the world in a different way, in a growth way, in a growth mindset status, your life will seem to be different. And this will boost your career. This will boost your business. It will even boost the way you look at, you interact and work with different people. It will even boost your relationship with other people. And first of all, I want us to reflect basically, which kind of level do you operate at? You see, the Bible says that the truth will set you free. I know the fact that when you tell people who are having a fixed mindset, and in a nutshell, I always tell people that people with a fixed mindset, it is always like that and it will ever be, you know. And our mindset is basically affected by four things. I call it the four E's of mindset. Number one is the education. The fourth E, I mean the number one E is education. What kind of education are you consuming? Honestly, yes, we all went to school. We are in two different professions, but I want to ask you, what kind of education are you really consuming of lately? Because this will change your life. For example, we're on call right now, and I believe you're all getting some bit of learning. But I want to ask you on a daily, which book do you read? What information are you consuming? On TV, what are you watching? What is it that you are watching every day that is going to spark a movement within your mind? It is important. Then second E is exposure. What are you being exposed to? If you're a carpenter, if you're a business person, what are you exposing yourself to every day? Just the other day, I was invited to go and train a group of young girls that are going to Dubai to do some bit of work, and most of these are returnees. But then, I was asking them when they came back for the first time, when they were coming from their work abroad, what did they notice in those countries that they could really apply here? And all of them were like, we didn't see anything. And I'm just imagining myself, I'm trying to think, how can I travel, be in a country for 2 years, and I'm not exposed at anything? So exposure is key. I want to ask you guys here, first of all, what are you exposed to? If you're an accountant, you're a doctor, or you're in any other profession as a person, what kind of exposure are you getting? Do you ask questions? Do you move? Do you go to these other different companies? Who do you interact with within your circle? That your mind can really be a different kind of thing. How are you exposed? I've always told people that I read, even when I'm walking in town, I read a lot of things. I read posters, I read material, but I want to also know, how are you exposed as a profession? Because it's not a one thing that you must look things in one direction alone, but you must be able to see things in a different angle of life. Some of us still look at life as if we are still in 2011, but yet life has moved on. So go down there as a professional, first of all, go get some bit of exposure. This is something that is really very important. sometimes we are stuck in one job, and yet we can really be, we can be progressing in life, but we are stuck, we are not being exposed. Then the third E is experience. Experience. This one always apply. What kind of experience are you having? Can you share that kind of experience as an individual, as a person? Because experience matters. I always joke about people, and I always say that experience is very actually expensive. For example, if you're running business and you hire people who are not experienced, you are going to lose money. But I always give this simple example. I always give people who are going to Mbaziira or these upcountry districts, and I tell them, yes, someone said, so you are going home for Christmas. Today is 23rd December 2025. You're going home for Christmas. You're seated in this big bus. You're almost 60 people there. And so the driver wakes up and tells you, good evening, guys. We are going to Mbaziira, let's say, but I've just learned how to drive a bus yesterday. But to be honest, I'll take you safely. How many of us will be able to stay in that bus? No one, definitely. So if you bought your car and then you gave it to someone who definitely learned how to drive yesterday, how many of us can risk that? So I've always told people that experience is going to shape our mindset. It's key. So if you are there and complaining about people asking 10 years, they're asking us for 10 years experience, but blah, blah. Yes, whereas it is true, it might be wrong, but experience shapes the way we look at things. Then the third E is about the fourth E is so we've talked about is about environment. Which kind of environment are you operating? I've always told people that you can stay around toxic people and you'll never grow up in your life. For example, this is simple. If you're working in a workplace where people are not recognizing your ability, they are always putting you down, it's a wrong environment. You will never grow as a profession, but definitely it will affect how you look at life. It will affect your mindset. It will affect the ambitions that you have as a person. And it will definitely develop you into a monster that does not want to do things because you're being affected by your environment. The same happens. Guys, where do you sleep? Where do you stay? Definitely. Because if these are the things we must clearly decide in our life, especially when we know what we are doing, definitely. So I want to ask all people that are on this call that when you look at those four E's, number one, they are important, but they shape how our mindset operates. And that is key. But if you fix your mindset and your mindset is really up there, you are up on your game, and you're trying to do something that can change your life, you're at your workplace, you're at your business, maybe you are a board member, maybe you are in a certain club, maybe you are in your group, maybe you're in your circle, maybe you are in a different environment, but you're being exposed to different people. Number one, I want you to clearly understand that mindset is everything. Mindset is everything in whatever I want to do. Real life has got to do with mindset. It will transform your career, but also to transform the way you look at business. It will transform the way you look at when you leverage a growth mindset, it will transform your career or business. But if I ask you again, put down that note. Where do you operate? Every morning you wake up as a person, be it in business, be it in your career. Where do you operate? Which kind of mindset are you operating at? Number two, or number three, how can we use the growth mindset to our advantage so that we can be able to see opportunities? Now, when you develop a growth mindset, definitely you are going to be able to see opportunities simply because your mindset now has been tuned into something that can now be able to see opportunities. If you've been really living with people, you'll understand that whenever you tell people something new, they'll always try to resist, especially people with a fixed mindset. They don't want to open their mind to other things. For example, I've always told people, there is this kind of secondary region and people being, being there, talking about the traditional religion, how we believed as Africans. And I see a lot of backlash from people. And I've just really actually tried to think, do you know that it's just that we don't want to explore what others are talking about? You're not open to understanding. It is simply because your mind has been fed with something for years, so it has become part of your entire life. And so people who have failed also in life, who are failing at something, who have grown up in a negative environment, they will try to see everything as a failure. So these are toxic people. They hinder us. And when they hinder us, that's why I told you people that the environment is important. When they hinder your understanding, then they will close your understanding or they'll close your mind. But if you use an open mindset, this will open doors for you. Because you see, opportunities are always invisible until we are trained to see them. Guys on this call, I want to ask you to train yourself to see opportunities everywhere. Train yourself, even the difficult situations, even the difficult times, train yourself to see opportunities. Now, what happens in most cases, people with a fixed mindset, they're not going to see opportunities. Let's say, for example, you're having a toxic boss, and this boss is just bad on you. You feel like you want to leave. You feel like you're tired of this place. But if you pause it down and ask yourself, hey, look, this boss is toxic, but what am I learning from this environment? You see, when you ask such kind of questions, then you will start, your mind will start being driven in a different direction of life. He's a bad boss, but what am I learning here? Am I learning business system? What is good about him? When he set out this business, what is so special about it? How is he running his operations? And so many other questions, if you ask ourselves, then develop a habit of curiosity and asking what if. Yeah, one time I was interacting, around 2011, I was invited in one of the big parties from one of the biggest guys in the government. And there was a kid who was asking a lot of questions. I'm sorry, I felt offended. But after some time, this came back to my mind. This kid was trained to be a critical thinker. So he kept on asking questions. And it looked like, number one, it looked like this kid was against me. He was, he was putting me down. But then I discovered this kid was just asking questions. Now, we have been trained not to ask questions. And I always told people that if you went to a mosque or you went to a church and the pastor is giving a sermon and you stood up and said, hey, pastor, I'm not agreeing with that. Can we do ABCD? You look like a monster. And definitely, we have been trained not to ask questions. But you see, it is the other way around. I want to ask you, number one, be curious. Develop the habit of being curious and start asking questions. What if I did my work differently? What if I did this? And to be honest, the world has been changed by people who ask such questions. Then view problems as opportunities. In businesses, we view problems as opportunity to make money, but also to create more career opportunities. You understand? So, for example, if there is a problem at your workplace, maybe they're struggling with sales. And so if you really, really try to ask yourself, why is my company not making extra money? Why are we struggling with sales? And then take it as a mantra from yourself and say, okay, I'm going to try out something to do with sales. I'm going to, prospect. I'm going to call these leads. Maybe to make sure that we can get a bit, different, other than you complaining, money is no longer coming, me, I'm going to change this business. I'm not saying that you stay in the same place, but what if you asked yourself differently? What if you asked yourself, apart from the career that you have, maybe the certificate, the qualification that you think you have, maybe the degree you got, the certificate, the diploma, and you ask yourself a different question? How many answers can you get? How far can you go? Sometimes we're in one position because we cannot ask ourselves these questions. These are honest, but we fear because there is a status quo that we have had. We have been taught. Education has taught us to look at life in a different direction. Sometimes your qualification is, I know people who are into medicine, but they're not supposed to be there. I know people who are into different careers, but when you look at them, you know, they don't ask themselves questions. I know many Ugandans who say, no, 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 this country has no opportunities. I want to leave this country and go to a different country. But if we asked ourselves, if we viewed these problems, and I want to believe that even the Americans, even those so-called countries that we think are big, people have asked themselves these questions. Are you together? If there are problems, how can we change these problems into, how can we create solutions? And then if there's a problem, how can we switch to a different career? We've seen people are choosing different careers, you know? So if you ask yourself, then two, networking. If you develop a growth mindset and you want to develop as a person, professionally in that career, that workplace where you are moving from one place to another, you must clearly develop a networking skill, approaching it with learning and providing value, not fear. Now, I know people who fear. You fear to network, maybe because your place of work is really a company is very small. Maybe you went to a different university. You didn't go to Makerere. You didn't go to Harvard, and most of us really have those hindering perceptions or mind or something in a mind that keeps us fearing that the others are superior. You know, someone works in KPMG, maybe you go for a networking event and it has all these high level people. And so you fear to even ask questions. You fear to even network simply because of your degree, your level of education or something. But if you develop a growth mindset, you're going to number one, understand that you are valuable, and then you can contribute something. So treat networking as a skill that will, number one, enable you learn, but also help you create more value. You understand? Then I want to ask you as a person, before we go to the next point, what are the hidden opportunities within your industry? For example, ask yourself, I'm an accountant, I'm a carpenter, I am a trainer, I'm ABCD. Write down every day, what I do. I want to write down things, the hidden opportunities. To be honest, because I'm a trainer, every day I look at how can I train border guys? Who can support this, you know? So look into your industry. What are the hidden opportunities? Even if you wrote down three, and I've also heard people have a book somewhere, smart book, near quality, transform the way you look at things. But most importantly, because you're asking yourself questions, you are developing your growth mindset. You're operating now at a different level as a profession, as a career person, as a business person. But trust me, even if you are at your workplace, your boss doesn't have all the answers. How will it be nice for you to provide all the answers, to provide some answers, to provide a contribution, not to sit in the shadow, not to be in a meeting there and you're just there seated and people are saying ABCD, but you can't contribute. But you see, it starts with a prepared mind. Ask these important questions. What are the hidden opportunities within your industry? It is a simple question every morning. You're moving, you're watching TV. Ask yourself these questions, and you'll find the answers are all everywhere. Ask people, ask friends, you know, even in the challenges. If, for example, you're a business person, people are complaining. How do you view these complaints? Can you ask questions for you to be better as a person? You know, if you're a salesperson and customers are complaining, ask these questions. They'll help you even sell better. If you're a professional, don't just treat your job as sitting in the chair, but you don't ask yourself as a person. In fact, because we don't ask these questions, most of us are stuck in these positions for over 10 years, and all what will happen is that we shall die and leave these workplaces because we've been earning this salary and all this did was to pay our bills, take our children to school, etc., etc. Number four, how can we use growth mindset as an advantage to increase our income? Yes, we've been earning 500,000. Instead, I have always seen so many people that are really obsessed. If they announce a job somewhere, they are running because, you know, there is this kind of increment in how much is being paid. But how can we use this kind of, how can you use your mindset to grow your income? For example, guys, I want to tell you something. I was a teacher. I was a vocational teacher some time back. But I went for a customer care training and I was paid some good money, and that one changed the way I looked at life. So I was being paid some small amount of money because I was a vocational trainer, but then I just did realize that I can package myself differently and do these trainings. And guess what? I've done more trainings. I've continued to learn more things that I've really turned them into trainings. And this has supported me to increase my income. But you see, you don't confine yourself to a 8 a.m., a 5 a.m. job. Trying to think outside the box. In your profession, for example, how can I increase my income? You know, I've always told teachers, to be honest, they tell me, we don't have time, we don't ABCD. Then I tell them, then what happens if you woke up early in the morning, but let's say by 4, you fry pancakes, package them very well. By 8 a.m., you reach school with your pancakes, you give them to the canteen. And that extra money, you're leaving school by 5 or by 6, you go back home, you prepare these small snacks, go back with them, go back to school with these pancakes. Let's say, for example, if on a daily you're adding 5,000 extra on how much you earn, that one will have increased your salary, first of all, how much you earn in terms of income, your salary plus the income. So we all need to view things differently. Don't look straight, guys. If you're in a profession, just understand one day that company might close. I'm sorry to mention, I had friends that have been giving me some good gigs from, you say it, recently we had an organization that was funding one of the big projects, and it stepped down because of the environment, But then what remains of you? Most of us, we are in these professions. You're a banker, you are an engineer, you are someone, you're doing something, but you're so comfortable. You've not thought of adding an extra income as a person. And in most cases, by the way, guys, it doesn't mean that you need to start a business. No, you just need to maybe to check in what you're doing. Can I offer consultants? If I'm an accountant, can I help some small businesses with their books? Maybe they can't afford to really have an accountant. I can charge a small fee on my extra time, maybe over the weekend or everything. Because, like I said, the growth mindset is about asking questions. When you ask yourself these questions, you'll see possibilities happening. And let me tell you, friends, people are ready to give you answers. You'll be shocked. So connect your mindset to money. Yes, it's true. Some of us really feel it, what think it's bad to, earn more money. I don't know. But for me, guys, money looks good. Money smells good. Money changes things. Money is my sweet darling. You praise better when you have money. Money growth begins with a skill growth. Can you grow a certain skill of that time that you have as a person? An entrepreneur, can you grow your skills? Can you grow your skills? Can you push and learn and adapt? Learn new things, learn new ideas. I've always told people that even if you're watching TV, even if it is news, there is a photo, there is a comment, but if you're intentional about learning, you'll get something. So guys, learn something, push yourself, learn and adapt. View feedback view feedback and rejection as data, not failure. This is powerful. I learned it from Jesla. One of the guys said that if you really look at feedback as data, rejection as data, why am I not doing right? Why is it that these people are complaining? Always learn. And this has been a big takeaway for me. I'm viewing rejection, I'm viewing failure as data. It is always telling you something. Maybe you are not at a certain level. Maybe you can improve. If you're looking for a job and you've been called for an interview and things didn't go right, you take off time to go back and revise that for next time you're going for an interview, you're going to be better. Maybe you're writing your CV. Can you write it better? Even in business, one time we had a boy who came here. He took our goods to the market and he disappeared. Now, to the team, it looked like they were all worried, but me, I took 1 point. I learned, how did this boy come? What was the challenge he was facing as a person? Then I've been able to learn. So, guys, because of the growth mindset, I want to ask you, number one, learn. Take rejection as data, not failure. Embrace failure. Actually, failure is a good teacher. Imagine if we didn't fail. Imagine if you started working immediately. And I've always told people that God has got a process. We need to adapt the process God has created. You see that big tree in your compound or on the main road? When it was still young, you could easily pluck it out of the ground. Now imagine, now, can you simply pluck it out of ground? No. God has got a process. You're born young. Imagine one in Mlago Hospital and a 1 day born baby asks immediately the mom, Mommy, I want to breastfeed. What would be the sack like? So enjoy the moment, enjoy these failures, but most importantly, learn from them. Be a learner every day. If you fail at work, I mean, if you're failing at a certain thing, ask yourself, why am I failing? Because when you ask that question, it's a growth mindset question. It will give you answers, and those answers will be really important. Then how do you how do you approach trying? You see, trying in Uganda get katugezeko. It is something that we've been really told at Tugezeko. I definitely don't want people who try. You can't try life. I mean, if you say, let me try to hang myself, what will be the result? What is your trying? Trying, I simply think, let me do. Because when you start, you take action. Actions are never trying because you see, trying, there is an expectation of failing. But when you take action and for whatever find as a stumbling block, you'll always maneuver around and see yourself to the next level. But if you just start things, you start a business because you want to try, a few rejections, then you're kicked out, then failing. How do you treat failure? You know, how do you treat learning? Do you learn? I've always told people that keep yourself a learner on a daily basis. If you're seated on that border, ask this border guy. He knows more information. Ask them, relate this. I mean, you have a topic to ask. The askaris, the teachers, everyone. Don't despise these people. Learning is all over us. When you ask people, questions, people will always give you answers, you know. Then how are you adjusting? Some of us have got a very fixed mindset. What we know is what it shall be forever and ever. What are you adjusting? You know, for example, there is now AI. So many people are afraid to adjust to understand that it is part of us. I've had old people had challenges with Mimesay adapting a WhatsApp, you know. Some of us are hiding somewhere. We are hiding from the reality. To be honest, if you graduated in 2008, so much has changed. Can you adapt to the new things? And I know these people who say, you know, this guy is young, can't train me anything, you know. Can you learn, even if it is knowledge, can you learn new things? Adapt, learn, you know, adjust where necessary. It is part of us. Technology is with us, you know. Understand what are the income growth, because if you're a learner, income growth pathway for you as a professional. What are they? You know, for example, are you upskilling? Are you getting new skills? Are you advancing in terms of skills? There are new opportunities, there are new jobs that have been created of recent. But if you stay stagnant, you stay comfortable with what you are, you are fixed there, you think things cannot change. Ladies and gentlemen, I have bad news for you. Things have changed, and therefore you need to really as well change. So consider upskilling, consider reskilling. Yes, yes. If you're an accountant, what is the new software on market? If you're a lawyer, what is new? What are the new industries can I explore as a person? If you're a business person, what is new? How can I use AI? You know, how can I use these skills as a person? How can I grow myself as a person? How can I increase as a person, as a professional? How can I start a business? You know, a side hustle. Can I go into consulting? How do I leverage technology and networks? These are things with us. These are with us. You know, when you look at TikTok, so many people are talking things, people are discussing information that was not really available by then. Why? Because of the new technology. People are sharing information. Go there and learn. You know, the only thing that I see people go to learn with the bias in mind is what they want to listen to, and there's what they want to hear. There's what they disagree with. Yes, it is honest for you to disagree, but also learn something. How do people perceive the world? You know, so because these are part of us. So as a professional, I want to ask you, How can you grow your income? How do you grow your income? Yes, you are still at your job, your workplace, 5 to 8 a.m. to 5. How can you grow your income? Suggest at least 3 ways and work on them. You know, some might be okay, some might need your time, some might not need your time, but you can always do something, you know. How do I market my skills? You're out there, LinkedIn, for example. A coach as this kind of person who didn't want to really post a lot. But then I've discovered this is the way to go. You are good, but you're hiding behind the curtains. I've always told people that if you're this beautiful lady, but you're ever hiding in the curtain, who will notice you? No one. So how do you use technology as a professional in your career? And how do you leverage your business? I mean, your networks to grow. Number two, are you setting up a side hustle, a side business? Are you upskilling or are you reskilling? Yes, don't be there and you're stuck. Probably no boss will ever pay you how much you want. No one is there. But you can decide that you can earn an extra income depending on how wide your mindset is. So ask yourself 3 questions. What are the ways I can grow my income as an individual through my career, through my different ventures? Some of you are professional, but you are good at making chapatis, making samosas, you know, and you can, you know, when I was growing up, I was working in a salon around P7 there. And so recently that I remembered, hey, Kumba used to be in a salon. Why don't I exploit this? Yeah, on your extra weekends, you can, earn more extra money. But this is the thought that came through to my mind. So guys, it's up to us as person, as individuals. Number 5, the growth mindset advantage and its impact. Yes, impact, guys, is important. I don't want to really be like you have been given a job, you have been in the job for 5 years, but nothing you've shown. Be intentional about your impact. And I've always told people whenever I see that I'm not impacting anything, may I leave. If you adapt a growth mindset, you must be impactful at your workplace, at your business, at the network where you are, your relationship, your club, your people who you discuss on a daily basis. They must see that you are impactful. Otherwise, when people see no change, they see that you bring nothing to the table. People will run away from you guys. So impact is very important because impact is influence and impact is everything. So impact is everything. Impact is influence. How are you influencing? What is your contribution? And what is your legacy? And mark you, impact will always bring you more opportunities and more income. Trust me or not, the level of impact you create will be directly proportional to how much your income is. And if you've been really impactful, you'll hear this from people. People will always tell you, hey man, you're so good at this. Leverage that and earn an extra income. At your workplace, how are you adding value? For example, you've been paid 500 and you've seen an opportunity. Are you transferring yourself to the next level? Are you inviting yourself out there? Or you're waiting people to notice you? No, that's the wrong strategy. Make yourself visible. Go for that opportunity. Be impactful. When you're assigned a role, do it with 100%. And don't be like, people are not noticing me. No, probably you are doing it in your workplace, but someone out there in a different company organization is really observing and they will fish you out of where you are. So don't fear to shine. Don't fear to be impactful. In fact, make it intentional to be impactful because it will be a very great game changer, you know. So if you develop a growth mindset, it will drive your contribution. Share knowledge. Coach Sam, I want to thank you for always sharing knowledge. I see you on different platforms and mentoring, solving problems for people. Sometimes we as professionals, actually, I forgot to talk about them, or as educated people, we become number one, we become so frustrated, and all we look at is about money, 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 money in everything we want to do. Sometimes the money you ask for is not going to create the impact. How are people going to be able to know who you are? Are you sharing your knowledge? To be honest, I train under different organizations, under different NGOs. But Sometimes you charge less because you want to impact the new generation. I have a training I call Enterprise Development and Mindset Change. We have been working with UCU and different organizations to train this. But I quite often see organizations that call me, come and share with us. Then you ask them for a certain amount of money. They don't have it, but then they are willing to give you a certain amount of money, you know, just to cater for your transport and whatever. Then you also, okay, let me come and share. Guys, share your knowledge. At a workplace, share something new, you know, be different, share who you are, mentor someone. Professionals at work, if you don't bear fruits, it's going to be dead for you. I know people who don't want to share anything. Chefs don't want to share their recipes. An accountant doesn't want to share anything from a junior to a junior, you know. You can't be selfish. I mean, at the end of the day, we are all going to die. We are going to leave the world. But what is our contribution? What is it that you're contributing? Share this knowledge. Maybe you're impacting someone. You know, someone of recent I was talking to because I told him, man, I can't speak well. I feel like something is in my tongue. He told me, take out that bullshit. Go and speak to people, you know. And I saw yesterday I met him. I told him, man, I'm grateful. You told me that. At first, I felt like I was being offended. But after some time, now I've come to appreciate it. In fact, the more I've spoken to people, the more that thing has disappeared. Probably I wouldn't say yes, but now it boosted my confidence as a person. So, guys, share your knowledge, mentor someone, solve problems, have empathy. You know, it takes you to the different level as a person. You're growing in your profession. As a business person, you're growing. Sometimes these customers come to us and all they need is a few notes, something small, but you want to ask money. So be out there, put yourself out there, be impactful, you know, be impactful. I know I've had an opportunity to invest myself in people and innovation. And to be honest, it has changed how I look at life. It has changed for me as a person. Of recent, I started to be an MC. Someone told me, hey, guy, to join to MCing. I went to a school. I started I started MCing, and yeah, people are always going to exchange because you exchange value. People are going to support your potential, and they are going to tell you something. I tell you what, it has opened doors for me. So what is the one way you can increase your impact in your field? Ask that. What is the one way I can increase my impact in my field as a person? Then number 6, can we, number 1, develop these tools and habits. Remember, we are living life intentionally. Number 1, have daily reflections. Today we are ending the day. Reflect on your journey. Reflect as a person. Where do you want to see yourself? This week, this month, next year? Have daily reflections. They're really important. What did I learn today? What challenges can I face tomorrow? Why did this why am I struggling here? Why is this? Why is that? When you ask yourself, it's a daily check. It's going to ask you questions, but it's going to probe your mind, and it is going to intrigue the new things within you. New ideas are going to flow into you because you ask yourself. Then number 2, reframe failure. Guys, I'll stick to failure. Reflect on failure. Why am I failing? Why did this happen? You're going to get answers. Don't simply close yourself because something wrong happened. Ask yourself, how can I get out of it? You know, and by the way, even if some other people are failing, we are learning from them. So don't you be there and you are seated. I've been seeing a video of an HR, a CEO having an affair with an HR. Well, I learned something probably. What are you learning as a person? Can it be an example? Your mother, your father, I mean, your sister, someone is struggling in their marriage, someone is struggling at work, some company is failing. What are the lessons, you know? But, and I don't want you to be a person who is criticizing people for failing, especially when they're out of your squad, out of your reach. But let's learn from them. So let's reframe failure, you know, and ask ourselves, what is this situation teaching me? I failed here. What is it teaching me? You know, it sort of comes as a mind-probing issue, but it's really, really important. Then surround yourself with growth-driven peers and mentors. Yeah, you've had Tell me who you hang out with, I'll tell you your future. Guys, it is important to have people in your environment, in your circle that are really growth driven. Choose these peers wisely. Sometimes I understand we fear to offend a certain group of people, but let them be offended because you're going to be a better person. Choose your mentors. Who's mentoring you? Spiritual mentors, business mentors, and so many things and so on. Mentorship is everywhere, by the way. On the internet, who are you reading? TikTok is a big thing. People are sharing knowledge. Who's mentoring you? Facebook, who are you reading every day? Who are you scrolling? What knowledge are you learning? Surround yourself with mentors, you know. Then read and learn continuously, guys. As a professional, as a business person, as someone who's trying to develop your career, even if you're not yet out there, please interest yourself in learning that industry, first of all, where you want to be. But most importantly, become a daily learner. Learning is everywhere. Like I said in the beginning, anyone can learn, can train you, can teach you, learn. Even the young kids can learn. For example, my boy thinks I didn't go to school because I don't know sound. But guess what? I've kept on learning from him. And what I'm trying to say that even the Baganda say a translation that even if you give birth to someone, they can teach you something. So be a continuous learner. We have books. If I can ask, what kind of book are you reading? Yes. Some of us totally, we last read books when we are in school. We don't even read a single article. When you go to these socials, all we do is scroll. What podcast are you listening to? Yes, there's so many podcasts in the world. What are you listening to? Honestly, are you listening to draining information or you're listening to uplifting information? What music are you listening to, by the way? Some of the music is putting your soul down. Can you be able to, what triggers your mind? What triggers your moods as a person? What courses are you doing? Yes, because you need to improve as a person. So create what we call a growth action plan. If you did want to grow, have a growth action plan. Do you have one? If I can ask, do you have one as a person? Develop one because it's going to really change the way you look at life. So guys, as I wrap up my presentation, growth mindset is really important. It is important to our children, by the way. Let me be honest with you. Some of you who are teachers, parents here and the teachers, I'm going to be honest with you. Develop time to talk to your children, transform their mindset because schools don't really teach this. And of course, you all know the academic system was meant to make us follow everything. Split off some time and train your kids on developing a great mindset. That's a growth mindset. But as you all know, mind shapes mindset is everything in whatever you do. I don't care what kind of level of education you are. I don't care what kind of position you have in that corporate entity or anywhere. Mindset will remain a core part of our life because mindset rather shapes opportunities. Some of us have these opportunities. In fact, most bosses, when they're hiring, first of all, they hire mindset. So it will shape opportunities. And by the way, it will also shape the way you look at opportunities. Then two, mindset will increase your income. Income is income. I know people who get money and because of their poor mindset is all gone in one time, in a single moment. But friends, also, it's also important to understand that in life, we all struggle at a certain point of life. So struggling is part of the journey, or bad days are part of the process, or they are part of the cycle as we grow up, as we move from one step to the next level. So don't be there and then you're frustrated and then you go back to a fixed mindset. Things are not going to be almost upright 99%, but you always need one opportunity to click everything. So I know we struggle sometimes in terms of income, and we are frustrated that things won't work, are not working as we expected them. But you see, sometimes we have to allow ourselves growth to happen. We have to allow ourselves time to happen, because it means quite a lot of things to us as individuals. So I don't want you to be put down because your incomes are not really adding. But for sure, when you develop a growth mindset, as we've discussed, your income can increase. Then mindset is impact. Because if you develop a growth mindset, your impact is going to be way there in the sky. And as well as told people that we are here to create something. We are here for a purpose in this world. Stop sitting backward and let everything happen. Be part of the things that happen. Be part of the solution. Be part of something. Be impactful, man. We do not know how, all of us don't know that we shall leave this age, and, let's use the moment to impact others. Let's use the moment to be impactful to society. Let's not really carry on the anger that things are not moving on well. Instead of we asking the government to yamba and everything, what are we doing about it as individuals, Instead of you blaming the government, what kind of impact are you creating? Because the mindset, if all Ugandans developed a growth mindset, even in our small communities, we can be of change. This holiday, we are starting up a games training for our children within the community in Bulova, where I stay. I'm buying a few boards, by the way, guys. If you can contribute for me, I'm buying some small boards for Ludo, chess, and everything. Number one, to teach these kids around the community who wander around during the holiday time, whose parents go to work, but the kids move around the village. What is that small thing that can be impactful? What can you cause? What somebody created this thing? It's really so powerful. Some of us sit in Kamori, but we are reading what is happening. But it's a platform to share. How are you being impactful to society? It doesn't have to be big. You don't have to have a lot of money, but how are you being impactful to that workplace as a person? We all here for impact. We are all here for a purpose. So what is it that you're doing as a person, And action is the bridge between thinking and results. Guys, whatever I've discussed, it cannot come, it cannot come into life unless you take action, Unless you take action and action again and again, nothing will ever change. But I want to ask you as I end, and I want to let you know that growth mindset is developed, not inherited. All of us can develop a growth mindset. It's not inherited. Some of us don't be there and get scared that, we have talked about the growth mindset in my workplace. Yes, the moment you reach your desk, ask yourself, how can I develop here? How can I change things? Growth mindset is developed, it is not inherited. The same happens to fixed mindset, which I don't want to really give time and discuss about, because at the end of the day, it doesn't add anything to us. But if we developed a mindset every day, we take actions every day, we ask ourselves these important questions that trigger our mind as a professional, as a business person, as someone who's looking for a job, as someone who is really, even if you think you can have low impact in the community, when you ask yourself the right questions, you're going to probe your mindset, but your mindset is going to change everything. So I want to end, ladies and gentlemen, on this note, and I tell you that our mindset is everything. Our mindset impacts every part of our life. I want to thank you for joining this call. I hope I've shared something that has really triggered your mind. And I hope if you have been doing something, you can really expound it, you can scale it up. But let's all have something that can change our lives and can make us and can make the world a better place, that can grow you as an individual, can grow your environment, can grow your community, can grow your network as a person, but most importantly, it can be for the good of the community. So, Coach, thank you for hosting me. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. You've shared quite a lot. And myself, there's a lot of learning that has taken place. I don't know, our participants, have you enjoyed the session? Any aspects, any takeaways from the session? You could just share one word or two that you can remember from the session. We have some questions that are coming through. And I just want to appreciate you once again, whoever's joined through. This is the Transformation Professionals Club. We host these conversations every Friday, and we invite resourceful speakers like Mr. Mbaziira. And today we just want to speak up to the mind, how we can be able to develop our growth mind. And he has really broken down the ideas, which is really, really very good. So thank you so much, Mr. Mbaziira. We'll take the questions and be able to have. So the comments that have come through from here, Mr. Baker says, is it what one thinks or what makes one think in a certain way? I think you'll be able to comment on that. He also went on to give a comment where he says some people fear to start business because they have never run a business and has kept them unemployed despite seeing someone who started and succeeded. Comment in the context of the session. And then he goes on to say, how does one accumulate experience without starting from zero experience? Is it therefore possible to have experience without starting from zero experience? In the informal sector, there is more innovation in starting, in addressing employment among the uneducated compared to the educated. Comment in the context of the session. I don't know if you want to answer that, if you want to make your comments before we move to the next one, or Mr. Rogers, I think you're on mute. You can unmute. Yes, we're not.
Yes, number one, most of the things, to be honest, for example, someone talked about experience. I mean, experience is everywhere. For example, if you are in business, go somewhere. I've always told people, go and volunteer. For example, if I go and volunteer into a business, I'll learn. First of all, let's say, for example, how do they come in? How do they clock in? What is discussed in a meeting? All of that is you're experiencing or you're accumulating experience. Even by observing by their friends, you can learn something from someone. Exposure, like I said, is everywhere. You can accumulate experience. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go into a workplace and do ABCD if you don't have an opportunity, but deploy different tactics for sure. It is important that you have different tactics. Like I've always told people, for example, if I want to start a cakes business and I don't have money to learn how to do cakes, to go to someone, I'll start by going there and tell them, hey, for example, if I'm a student and I'm new and maybe I don't have a job, I tell them, hey, I'm seeing you're struggling. Can I come and help you with some work, maybe fetch for you water or do ABCD, those hard things for this individual. The moment he allows me to come into his or her business, I'm definitely now going to start earning. As he mixes our ingredients, I'm learning something. I'm learning. Let me tell you something. There's a boss I was working with, and I was learning how he speaks on phone. I was learning how he moves on speed. I was learning how he interacts with people. I mean, you're all accumulating experience. Maybe the other question was, kindly, Coach Sam, can you remind me the other questions?
Okay, there was another question here. Let me just try to read it. I think he was trying to share some aspects. How does one accumulate experience without starting from zero experience? Is it therefore possible to have experience without starting from zero? And then he says in the informal sector, there's more innovation in starting businesses in addressing unemployment among the uneducated compared to the educated one. Comment on the context of the session.
Yes, it is true. One, guys, I don't think that we all don't have experience. To be honest, we are experiencing something. I've always told people that even if you're writing a CV, never tell these people that I've never done anything. At least you've stayed at your mother's shop. I mean, you went to the garden with your mom. There's experience you've accumulated as a person. So we are all starting at a certain point in life, but it all takes time for us to ask ourselves these questions, these probing questions. What can I do? Because you cannot be there as a person and all you live to eat, sleep, wake up, I know. So there's a certain point in life. Then when it comes to innovation in the other informal sector, especially where people are uneducated, to be honest with you, all over the years, I've worked with young people and I've done some research, traveled in this country. People who are not educated have got jobs. Now, The only challenge we have is that there is a kind of way. I've also told people that there are two things that disturb this country. Number one is education. Now, growing up in the education system, we have been told that when you graduate, you're definitely going to have a good job. But it's not our challenge. It's, everyone knows the moment I'm out of school, our parents even sold land. Can you imagine? They sold land to make sure that they push us through school. And so when you grow up, you graduate with this degree, this diploma, and you fail to get a job. Then the mindset tells you you are not supposed to do the other job. So you have another option in life is to look for a job. Now, people who have not gone to school, they have no option, to be honest. All they can do is to survive. Now, the problem with the educated, there are so many options. If I fail this, I can go do ABC. Girl who has never gone to school, he has no option. He can do anything. I've gone up to grow businesses that have created employment for most. I mean, they have no option. So I think it's a mindset issue. We have all been raised and brought up. We are disappointed. We have had all these many sessions, but in reality, we are set and has got more and more less with jobs. But people are uneducated, honestly. They have got number one, the choose worker mindset. They are resilient. They can do anything for survival, you know. But the educated people think always there's a fallback position. And I've always told people that in life, if you have so many options, like people who have not gotten married, I've always told them that if you think you have so many options, you'll jump from one girl to another, you'll jump from one man to another simply because there are so many options. But the uneducated have got one option to go themselves down there, hustle, make it happen, or they won't survive. And that's it. So they develop the Jisoboka mindset, try so many things because it's their only way possible. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. The next question was coming from Geoffrey, who says, what if you have to use the toxic people as a match to grow? An example is where you have create a circle. I think it should start from home when you miss them. I see it like missing an LC letter. How can I spark motivation in my mates if it is a must to move with them? Because they're always reluctant to change. An example is making a change in unexposed university students' mindset. Mindset change has led me to loneliness because I hear if you change mindset, you outgrow community. I don't know if you want to comment on that as well.
Yeah, it's true. You see, there's a time of life we want to grow with other people. I'm going to give you an example. We have a group, a former school hobbies group, but you see the perception of what people are doing, what they're discussing. And we always have where we are brought, we are homes, villages or towns where we grew up. People think you are the same. People see you, even Jesus, where he was not a prophet, where he was not valued where he was born. He was valued somewhere different. I think it's by nature. People see you the same individual, even when you've changed, because for them they see the same face, the same skin color. So it becomes hard. But my brother, I want to tell you something. If you want to elevate yourself, just know there are certain people that are not going to fly with you. They are not going to go to you with you at the next level of your life. Like in the village, there are people who have grown seeing you, and all you can do is to say hello to them, greet them, and move on. But remember, people are always going to fight a mind that has changed. They're going to fight someone who's really appearing to be different from them. But it's okay. It's okay because you've taken a path, you've taken a journey that is going to see you to the next level. So don't be bothered. Don't be bothered about that level. Simply go. People who understand you will go. I've also told people that you need to fly with a different level of people, and those will understand who you are. But you'll be wasting time to be discussing with people things that they don't understand. It takes personal initiative for a person to go to the next level. So don't be bothered by that. all you need to do is move, because at the end of the day, man, you're born alone. You're so alone, you counter your problems as an individual alone, so just move on to the next level. And maybe those who understand you will understand you and they follow you. But because you are now a purple cow, you're a black sheep among the white sheep, so people will look at you differently. But no matter what, just keep on soaring, go to the next level. Thank you.
All right. The next question is coming from Mr. Molan. Okay, this is Molan saying, thank you so much. Thank you very much. You've touched something crucial, mindset change. How best can someone explore their other hidden talents besides career? For example, some people are naturally charismatic, a gift not everyone can possess. Thanks.
One thing is to understand that you know who you are. To be honest, there is something we know who we are. You know you're good at something. People have not told you this, but this it's deep in you. Let me be honest with you. I've never applied to be a teacher. Even when I was doing my Form 6 application registration or job forms and whatever, I've never wanted to be a teacher. But I knew as I'm good at talking, definitely. Then too, if there is something that you have and you feel you have, please go ahead and execute it. This is the voice. Maybe God has given you this. It's your purpose. Don't wait for validation. I think the major challenge we all have is we need validation from other people. Some people don't see who we are. For example, I've always told people that if you have imaginations, if you have these dreams, some people have not been given these dreams. The charisma you have, the energy you have, and it will vibrate with people with the higher energy. Just look for where you can be appreciated. Like for example, in careers coach, I've always told people that if you're not appreciated anywhere, it will be a waste of time. You can imagine cars that were really precious in 1990, they're no longer precious today. We have got phones today that a new phone is coming and they're going to be obsolete. You understand? So if you understand you have a gift on you, simply go ahead and execute it. And by the way, don't wait for the perfect time. I know we are always there chasing for the perfect moment, which is a lie. I think the word perfection should be removed from the dictionary. Practice does not make you perfect. No, it will create you, makes you better. Simply as that. So if you have something on you, if you have a gift on you, start by sharing it with some people who clearly understand it, nurture it, develop it every now and then, learn about it, look for the people that are doing it in the same kind of industry where you are, try to interact with them, network with them, keep on developing as a person. And don't be perfect, because don't let perfection to get into a way of good. Otherwise, you'll never execute what you feel is really important. And let me tell you something, someone out there is watching, and people are going to give you feedback. You see, the funny bit about this word is that it has negative people who are going to really sell you down, but there are also other people who are going to sell you upwards. But most important, don't wait for validation, validate yourself and go for it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. The other question is, I think this is a comment that has come through, and thanks so much, friends that are sharing their comments. It's quite insightful, and Mr. Rogers has really done us good. Says Kobel says, thank you, Rogers. Indeed, growth constitutes most of our aspects of life. Anthony as well says, for sure, I've learned one of the greatest things. Thanks you so much. Now, Mr. Odo says, thank you so much for opening our eyes. How do we maintain growth mindset in this volatile economy? Brethren, sometimes we all have a plan until you get a punch on your face. How can we keep it up?
Yes, that's a good question. But if I can ask, do you know that even children have got punches? When it punches you as a parent and you have no money to buy sugar, to buy meals, and then they skip milk for today, and then they're taking this our dry tea, as we want to call it in African setting. The fact is, number one, I always tell people there is what we call a victim mindset. You see all what people are talking about Uganda, blah, blah, blah. It's going to happen. Like, for example, first point in first, if I can ask you guys, there is no time people will ever say there is money. That's one. But I've traveled somehow in different countries, a few of them, but even all over, because internet is with us, there are no people in any country that love the government in power. That's one. So if you say the economy is bad, even in other countries, they're complaining about the economy being bad. But you see, the thing is, there are people who are winning in this economy. Now, the question is, are you staying in the other side or people are complaining? Or do you want to win? And are you on the journey of complaining and you still stand still and do nothing about it? Because let me tell you something. I don't think the world has, no. I believe that we are born for a particular purpose. That's first of all. There is a reason as why someone was born in 1948, 1940, and then there is a reason as to why a kid has been born today. There is a purpose for that. Now, my friend, number one, forget about the victim mindset. Yes, we are all victims of circumstances, but how we bounce back really matters. You see, when we go into football, if you observe teams clearly, they have given the same time. We are all winning at the same rate, but there are people who win and there are those ones who don't win. Now, the question is, are you willing to jump on the winner's side to make things happen amidst every struggle? Because the fact is, we are all going to struggle. Allow yourself to go through the journey if you want to win something. Cover your ears, don't listen to other people. Just simply be honest with yourself, open your mind, just make things happen. Try your level best. Go at the field, go at the battleground. Don't really listen to what other people say. Because you see, people are saying these things, but the world is moving at a very high speed. Someone of your age is executing at a certain level. You know, someone at your age is doing certain things differently. So just simply remove a victim mindset. You're a victim of something. Our country is bad, a complaining mindset every time, and then try to simply see the good. Of course, there are certain things you have control about, like your mindset, but two, there are certain things you don't have control about them. And definitely be rest assured that it will ever be like that, whether today or tomorrow. But can we live about complaints? Will our grandchildren ask us about complaints? No, we keep on doing. Just like, to be honest, you've not observed it, but every day you wake up, you risk dying, isn't it? But no, I mean, the heart keeps on pumping blood and you keep on breathing until a particular day when you die. So don't do yourself injustice by saying, let me push back because, and I know this for fact. That's why I discussed one of the ease of mindset. I discussed about environment. What are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Where do you sleep? Who are you listening to? If you listen to politicians, they are going to show you that everything in this country is rotten. Yet there are people who are talking numbers, people who are talking opportunities, people who are seeing, for example, we are heading for election time. There are people who are seeing death. To be honest, we don't know how the world is going now to be, but there are people who are definitely seeing opportunities and they're looking at, hey, come this time, I'm going to execute A, B, C, D, and F, and I'm going to win. So my brother, just develop a growth mindset. Don't listen to people that are limiting your belief, that are limiting you. Don't actually listen to anything that is limiting you because you're born in a whole kind of shape as a person. You can go ahead and execute anything amidst everything. So that one comes along because you are listening to so many people that are negative. Simplest, be in your direction. Think good. See the good. As people are complaining, what is happening in this country? I mean, what can I do better? If you ask such probing questions, you'll find answers that are going to really change how you look at life. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Let me see. Another question. I think some of these are just comments that are coming through. Mr. Becker says, can one data force say that uneducated have growth mindset, well then educated have a fixed mindset of getting a job? I think you had commented something around there earlier on. I just want to ask, there's something from Nicholas, the boss, who says, thank you so much, doctor. You already been given doctor titles here. How do we maintain growth mindset where the cost of capital and taxes are too high? Yet in the business, we have those with huge capital and they get stock without taxes. At the end of the day, you're outcompeted by them. Yes.
Yeah, to be honest, first of all, we all can't be at the same level. I've come to appreciate that we are all at a different level of life and we operate differently. Now, if I ask you, is it a crime that you have small capital? No. If you are a son of a minister, is it a crime? No. If you're born by a peasant farmer, is it a crime? No. I find it like excuse. I find it like excuses, to be honest with you. But most importantly, it's an issue to work on the mindset, guys. Just develop a growth mindset. I mean, it's everything. You'll find a way. Like the Bible says, where there is a will, there will always be a way. Just find something in this economy, because if you give up, the sure thing is you're not going to make it. But if you try badly enough, you're going to win something. So I would rather stay in the game, knowing every day I'm doing some bit of progress, than me being there and then start complaining about how high taxes are. And by the way, friends, I want you to also to understand one thing. Let's not look at Uganda in a context, but let's also look at what the people that if you feel like you're struggling in this country. Now the world is a global one. People are making money online, first of all, but also you can go to another country. But most importantly, friends, if we tell ourselves such, we are not going to win. We are setting limits to how far we can go because there's something that has been told to us. And be careful about the media. The media is interested in negative things alone. I see so many people say they don't have capital, blah, blah. We all don't have capital, to be honest. But I see people who have never started and they're saying they don't have capital. When you ask them, what are you going to do? They don't have capital. They have never started, and so their businesses have failed. I don't know if they're understanding what I'm trying to mean, but sometimes we are just victims of circumstances. We just want to rely on the fears that people are putting on us. Please, friends, let's be open to doing something different, and it will change the way we look at life. The victim mindset is really big, especially now that we are heading for politics. It's going to be a big thing. You're going to hear things. You can't survive in this country, but there are people who are winning, friends. There are people who are doing it. You know, someone in the community that has not done big things like you do is running a small company. I've seen yesterday, I saw a lady who's selling maize on a tipper. And I'm like, God, is this the economy? Try to look at people. There are certain people who are winning. Outside this country, Kampala, there are people who are doing something. I'm not trying to say that taxes are not high or whatever, but guys, let's just be open to utilizing the environment we have. We cannot keep on complaining. What if the government doesn't change tomorrow? What if 10 years, 20 years, will we still be complaining about things that didn't happen? And you know, you look at the US, people are complaining they don't have jobs. People are complaining of high taxes in those worlds, different kind of worlds, you know? So I think at the end of the day, we are victims of circumstances, but let's just try to, let's walk the journey. True. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that response. Joan says, wow, purpose. Coach Winnie says, thank you. A great presentation filled with variable nuggets. Train yourself to see opportunity in everything. Ask, what if? Reframe failure, and most importantly, commit to a growth mindset with action. Thank you so much, Coach Winnie, for sharing that. Joanna says, I'm opening my mind to my passion. Master Kultimbe, thank you, gentlemen, for letting us. Steven says, thank you, Rogers. It's really an insightful session. Mindset change is a very big factor in society today. Henry Ford once quoted, whether whether you can think or you think you can't, you're right. It's all about the power of belief. Very powerful quote, Mr. Makande Stephen. Thank you for sharing. Sime Emmanuel says, thank you so much for the session. Is it possible to share with us one of your hardest challenges you've ever faced and how did you overcome such situation? That's a very good one. You'll be able to share with us, and then we'll be able to handle the next question from Samuel. You just want to share with the team one of your hardest challenges that you faced and how you overcame the situation.
To be honest, there are so many. One in business, I had my business is not that big. To be honest, our capital reduced a bit, but the scenario was about to get us with people that I had worked with for some time. They turned against me. They started speaking to my employees, and my business was teared down. And it was really a challenge. First of all, it comes with an emotional cost. Realizing people you have tried to work with over the years, tried to support, to help. And I lost capital of close to around 50 million. Also, I lost motor vehicles. I lost employees who are really good at me. I lost market. And it was really, really something really hard for me. And it went down on my emotional bit, my mental stress. I had some mental challenges. And it really tore me badly apart because I'd set myself to not to go back into employment. But now here I've lost money. I've lost a brand that I've kept on building for some good time. People laugh at you when definitely you lose money. This is when you understand who people are, who thought you were in your circle, they're no longer in your circle. I've had dates. People do, the loan guys are calling, the landlords are calling. And well, the other thing I also noticed that I was trying to fight hard, not that I fell down. A business goes down, but you're trying to fight hard to make things really happen. But it all wears you down. But you see, this is the turning point. When I captured, I lost around 50 million or so. Like any other person, if someone loses 100,000, they have lost money too. I talked to different business people, and guess what? They told me different stories. How they have lost millions, in fact, in billions, but have been able to make it. And the beauty about asking questions is that there are always these people who are going to tell you what they have gone through. And of course, the emotional bit, whatever. Then I got this one answer from a certain lady, and she told me, Rogers, life has a circle. Maybe now that is the circle of life you're going through. And guys, guess what? I turned the other around and I started looking at life differently. In fact, I got more business knowledge now than what I had when I was running. And that's the beauty. So I took time to ask people. First of all, I realized I was not in the same boat, in the boat alone. So many people had failed. Number two, people had gone through it. Number three, so now I had to look at what went wrong amidst every challenge. To be honest, I lost everything, the cars, the motor vehicle, and everything. But I had to go back on the drawing board. How do I make myself better? How do I produce a better product? And then two, I learned how to deal with people. Isn't it amazing? So, and there's so many other challenges, but I think for me, the biggest one was that. Then the other one is really internal, guys. And let me talk about it. I didn't come from a good background in my life. And definitely, I didn't have my parents growing up as a person. So I was really supported. My life was not all that good. But what I'm trying to tell you is now you're confident because you have scars of your background. I call them scars of poverty. Now, the level of self-belief starts to reduce. Sometimes you start to look at yourself as if you don't deserve. People will not recognize who you are. You tell yourself these stories. I did go to the best schools, therefore who can listen to me? There are so many, and these are silent battles that we are all trying to fight. There are internal battles that we are trying to fight. You're trying to settle for less. Other people are shining, but people are telling you you are good, you are good, you can do ABCD, but deep inside you seek validation. I think for me, it's another big challenge that most of us have. You fail to resign from that job to go and be big somewhere. And oh God, it is something you ask yourself so many questions. But friends, apart from that, problems are part of life, to be honest. They are going to be and they will ever be part of life, but how we maneuver around is part of us. If you decide to stay in the corner, be boxed, the world will box you. But most importantly, you just need to stand tall and say, "Here, I'm here." One of my head teachers told me that if you feel like everything is against you, simply say, "Whatever happens, let it happen. I'm here." And tell me what, time will pass, and it will pass until you'll overcome as a person. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rogers, for sharing. I think one of the things that you've shared is every one of us is a candidate of a tough situation that's coming our way. But like the saying goes, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I do believe that no matter what we're going through, no matter how the economy is, if you keep a growth mindset like you've shared, knowing that, okay, if I fall down, the next thing I need to think about is how can I stand up and not having to say, complain of where I've fallen and complain of the circumstances, complain about who has made me fall. The whole aspect is when I fall, I need to think about how can I raise again with that kind of attitude that can keep you going. So thank you so much, Mr. Simwe. I hope you've been able to answer it. So Mr. Samuel says, how can I have a growth mindset where I'm on the run or race, given the busy work schedules that you leave home so early to be able to beat some jam and be able to do much work early and so leave late after jam. You reach home very tired, yet throughout the day you have meetings and a lot of work to accomplish. Hence, no more time to focus throughout the week, including weekends and Sunday, busy at church whole day and as a family. Basically, is trying to ask how does he pick up himself in all this turmoil that is going through.
Thank you, Coach Samuel. I happen to work with Rotary sometimes, and I'm a Rotarian. We're giving one of the excuses and say, but guys, we're always busy. And one of the Rotarian, once we were told us that Rotary is for the busy people. The same happens to winners. Winning is for the busy people, to be honest. Number one, it's an opportunity that you are having these meetings. That's a tick for me. You are being exposed to different people. Now, the growth mindset comes, what are you learning out of that place? For me, that is the first place. Because you see, when we are given the jobs, let's take them as a learning point. Number one, the jobs we have are addresses where people can find us. But number two, they are learning centers. Imagine if you sit down, you realize how much you have been taught at school versus how much you are learning from your workplace. But friend, amidst the chores that you are going through, find the time for who you are. Let me tell you, even if there are 30 minutes of your day at your desk, like I said, have a book on you. Think, your thinking partner. Have it on you guys, friends. Write down a few things. Create a plan for yourself. Because to be honest, your boss doesn't want you to really leave. I want to be honest with you. Your boss is there to say, okay, this is my biggest guy. So let me assign him or her the biggest challenges. But always have time for you. Because to be honest with you, have you seen people that have been fired from workplaces with all they have offered, everything, the time, everything? They even sacrificed their time for family to offer the best at their workplace. And all it turns to be, we don't need that individual at our gate today, starting from today. It happens. And who knows? When will it ever happen to you? And the other question is that what you want? Do you want to run for the rest of your life like that? And then because yes, the bank account, the salary might be so good, but you are held captive. It takes a simple decision. My advice is get a time of a day, 30 minutes, sit down, give yourself that time. Think through for those 30 minutes. Enough, you will see yourself change and do it constantly. You will see yourself to a different level. We all have time before you sleep, before you do anything. And I know it would look like there's something that you signed before, that job that where you're working, you signed, it looks like you're signed to suffer ever and ever. But you need your time, you need who you are, the hidden talents, the hidden gifts within you. So it's as simple as deciding, yes, these 30 minutes are for me. The other minutes, the other time has been for your boss. Now decide that my 30 minutes, my 1 hour is for me. Me, what I do, I sit in my bedroom in most cases, brainstorm and think. I have my thinking. My wife is my thinking partner. I talk to her. What do we need to do? I mean, there's that kind of person you can give a call, assign accountability partners. You said you're going to do this week something. You feel you're so busy, let them call you. And then to learn to delegate. By the way, it's another thing. I've seen so many people who are busy and they think they can do everything alone. For example, if you want to do a business, but you are so busy, why don't you assign someone to give them a few questions to do research for you? And maybe you can partner with that small money. But what I'm trying to say, get off some time, get time for something, get your own time, get your me time. Because if you don't get it for yourself, no one will ever get it for you. And you see, you're not going to tell it to your children that, I was running up and down, I was unable to do ABCD. Yes, the job is good, but if it is tearing you down, then you're not going to get results. So my ask is, it is important that you create time for you, your me time, you discuss with yourself, and probably embrace other tools. For example, AI, use AI as your thought partner. Yeah, AI designed for me this and this. It will give you answers. Copy and paste, edit. It helps you, it can be your supportive tool, but the most important one, get time for yourself. No one is going to get time for you. Even if you say, before I sleep 30 minutes, I'm going to do ABCD, you will do it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Rogers, for the responses. And thank you, everyone who has kept here through this session. We are getting down to the end of the session. I want to ask Rogers. I know, Rogers, you one time posted within the WhatsApp group some of the work that you're doing as a learning and development specialist. I want you to just share about that kind of work that you do and how people can be able to benefit from your services. And yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Coach. I do trainings. I do trainings at different levels. First of all, I do enterprise development and mindset change trainings. But of recent, I've been volunteering my time to work with companies that are really available. I can come in the organization and you probably pay me transport. I can become your learning and development partner, your officer at the company or at the business where you are. And we can discuss on the terms so that I can help you within my free time over the week. And I do that, but also I do work with NGOs, especially those ones who are working in communities to train their youth in mindset change and enterprise development. I do basically it's training, HR trainings, customer service, team building. I also do work as a master of ceremonies. I host events. I host different events. So you can always contact me. Training, which I hope I will be introducing to the team very shortly in a few months to come. Yeah, that's my space. I'm a learning and development expert. I can always come into your business, see where your learning needs are. Of recent, I'm working with a certain school in Gayaza, and I'm training their teachers, number one, to enhance their performance. So if you're a company out there, for now, I'm not charging professional fees. We can always sit down and agree. I've shared my numbers within the chats. We can always sit down and agree on how we can execute. And yeah, you never know how far we can go, but basically that's what I do. And I welcome people to work with NGOs, companies, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers, for that. And thanks so much, everyone. If you're joining us for the very first time, this is the Transformational Professionals Club, We host these conversations every Friday, and we invite resourceful speakers like Mr. Rogers. Our topics around mindset, personal finance, public speaking, personal branding, basically helping you to be able to grow and earn at the end of the day. Mr. Rogers has also shared his contact, which is very good. That is great. So I just want to appreciate everyone. In case you're not part of our community, we have a WhatsApp group that we run, and I'll be able to just share with you how you can access. Just fill in a form where we can capture some of your details, and then at the end of the form, there will be a link where you can be able to join us. Let's join us. One of the things that helps you as an individual, especially in cultivating a growth mindset, is who is in your community, who is in your vicinity, whom are you talking to every day? I think one of the things that sometimes we get off course on what we should be doing is because of who we're associating with. I think there's a saying that says, tell me whom you associate with, and I'll tell you who you are. So the Transformational Professionals Club is an environment that helps you remain in the growth kind of environment that helps you to continue us, because like these Friday sessions, every time you come, you learn something new, your mind is elevated, and before you know, there are opportunities that you're tapping into. So that is one of the things that I really encourage you to be able to join. So I've shared a link into the chat box. You can just click on that link and fill the form and be able to join our group. So I want to just ask you, Mr. Rogers, to be able to just give your closing remarks. I don't know if we have any other questions, but I don't see anything in the chat box, and I don't see anyone raising up their hand. So I believe that everything is okay. So just you could just give us your closing remarks, any words of encouragement, especially like people have shared here in this tough time where people lost their jobs as a result of USAID, where incomes are low and expenses are increasing every day, where basically people are losing themselves in the picture every day. There was a lady who was telling me that I've tried everything. I've tried applying for jobs. I've tried business, but nothing seems to be working, and I feel like giving up. So in this era where people are also struggling with their mental health, making sure to remain stable, what are some of those words of encouragement that you leave the audience with?
Number one, thank you, Coach. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining through, for coming through for this talk. And I want to thank you, Coach Samuel, for the Transformational Professionals Club that you created. It's really amazing. When you began it over the beginning of the year, it was really something catchy. I've had the thoughts to do that, but yeah, you simply spoke to my mind, and you really opened up the possibility of what someone can really do to impact the community. But friends, every one of us goes through challenges, and that's the fact. And I tell you, when you share with the people, they will tell you, you don't know what I'm going through. But what can I say? There's a saying that what does not kill you makes you stronger. But I've always told people that it is important also, just as you go through these challenges, to feed your mind. To number one, I want to know that you are not alone. There are so many people who are suffering that you're suffering. But again, no one is coming to save you. To be honest, that's the honest truth. All you need to do, if you have been working in this high-end place, is now, that's where you are is the reality. You're now zero. If you've been earning 5 million and you think you cannot adjust, it's upon you as a person. But life has ups and downs, and we all know this. But the fact that we have not died, yes, there are people who are going to laugh. And you see, I think the most important, the challenging thing is we fear what others will say. Now, when I start doing ABCD, I tell you, we've also been struggling. We still also struggle on a daily. You struggle to get a meal, you struggle to get clients. But I mean, that's life. But you see, in this struggle, as we've said, develop a mindset. Number one, have thinking partners with you. Don't go away from people. One thing that really affected me when I was going through mental challenges is that I left people. I pushed back. Look for people who can understand who you are. People are there and they're willing to help. Start up something. I mean, don't be there in denial that one day I want to really, first of all, get this job. What if it doesn't come now? I know people have been not working for the last 5 years and they've just got jobs this year. Always have a plan B. And those of us who are having jobs, friends, try to as much as have something that you can push across. But you always struggle. There are times when you have no training opportunities and you're really struggling. But let's use these moments that we're going through the downs to learn something. If it is a skill, learn it. If it is how you improve, how you work with people, learn it. But most importantly, friends, sometimes you have no control over what is happening to you. Yes, you have no control. So if it happened, but then forge way how you can move forward. I cannot say much and I tell you go A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I think you have been disappointed by people in most cases. That's one. And yeah, it always happens in most cases. There are people that you supported and you feel now is the time for them to give you back. I'm sorry, it might not happen. I had so many friends on TikTok, on Facebook, blah, blah. I've had a very big circle but when I went through problems, I tell you, even the people that I was paying salary couldn't even say hello to me. But most importantly is to understand that people go through that. But what does not kill you makes you stronger. And for sure, you'll overcome it. I don't know when, today, tomorrow, but you'll overcome. But the most important thing is take action. Take action towards the life you want to be. That is it. Every one of us, you see, I tell people that if you're in the tax park, Kampala downtown, and maybe you are standing at Yamaha Center and you see people down in the tax park, old tax park, you realize one thing. Everyone you see in town there is chasing something. You'll be on the journey. Forget about the problem now, but stick to the process. But yes, reset yourself as a person. Otherwise, problems like Coach, you have said, problems are going to be part of us. They're going to be in our circles and we can't avoid them. There is that kind of period that everyone goes through a hard time. And one of the guys was telling me that, money never comes late. When the good times come, you will forget the bad times. Then lastly, I request guys to have it as a point to read the material about mindset because it is important, but also to expose ourselves to as much content about mindset as we can because it really affects our day-to-day life as individuals. And like I said, I always tell people that it's going to cease being about what education you got, but how rather you can execute as a person, how rather do you interact, how rather do you use your brains as an individual to create yourself in this world that has challenges. And the world will always have challenges, friends. I think it is by God's design, and those who are able to overgo through the challenges are always winning. Thank you. Till then, for those ones who are really interested in trainings, I'm always available. I've shared my contacts. You can go on my LinkedIn, Mbaziira Rogers. Let's interact. Let's keep in the circle. Call me in your workplaces to speak to your team, speak to your church, your community members, and I would be glad. But all in all, I think I've shared something that we can all have and extend to our relatives, our friends, and our circles. But most importantly, let's adopt a growth mindset no matter the situation we are. Thank you, Coach Samuel, for hosting me. Thank you, Transformation Club. Thank you for those ones who have really attended. I'm ever grateful for this platform and looking forward to share more with other group members. Thank you, Coach.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing, Mr. Rogers. And thank you, everyone who has come through. We're always glad to have each one of you here. I know the situation may not be easy. And like Mr. Rogers said, it's until you actually ask somebody about how everything is going that you actually realize that you're not any different. I think we're in the same countries, similar environments. We are going through some things, just that people don't speak about it. I think there are times when you feel like it's only you who is actually going through that circumstance. But again, when you share with somebody, you get to realize that people have actually going through even much harder things than the ones you're going through. Of course, that doesn't weigh down what you're going through because only you can understand. But one of the things that helps you is continuously believing in yourself and knowing that, okay, despite what I'm going through right now, I know that things will get better. I believe that if I continue in the same with the same attitude and self-belief, I believe that things will get better. The world does not just bring everything to silver plate. You have to really fight yourself to really get to what you need to do, what you need to get. So if it's the workplace, you have any kind of struggles in the workplace, keep with a growth mindset. Ask yourself, how can I do better? What can make open for me the opportunity in another place? How can I increase my income? What can I do to maintain a work-life balance despite being in a busy environment? What can I do to improve myself? I know we at a time of the year where we are 6 months down the road. The year is moving very fast. When even you try to look at your past performance in the past 6 months, it doesn't even make sense to you. You even ask yourself, am I really living? Is there something that is really happening about me? One of the things I would tell you is the way you respond to a failure or the way you respond to what you might call not progress determines on how far you can go. So you need to make sure that you keep a positive attitude and believe that if it didn't work out in the last 6 months, it can actually work out in the last 6 months of the year. That doesn't mean that even in the last 1 month, one month of the year, things can turn around. So one of the things I do believe as a mantra as an individual is I'll keep doing my best. I'll keep showing up. I'll keep believing. I'll keep improving myself. I'll keep learning every day. I'll keep connecting with people because I'm not really very sure where my next opportunity will come. I'll keep motivated even when in the moments when I feel like giving up. I'll keep believing myself. I'll be my own cheerleader to say, despite how circumstances might be, I'm going to show up. I'm going to believe. I'm going to do my best. And this kind of attitude has really taken me places and has put me there because when people see you show up, sometimes as content creators, when people see you every time online, they think everything is okay. But sometimes we are going through different things here and there. But what keeps us going is understanding the kind of impact. Why am I doing exactly? One of the things that helps my mind is rethinking through my purpose. Why am I doing whatever I'm doing? So even when times come through, when things are tough, when I feel like giving up or even stopping, what encourages me is, why did I start this? And I was trying to think about earlier this week, there are people that I think we lost one of the law professors here in Uganda, and you've had quite a number of people die this year, and you get realizing like, okay, despite what I'm going through today, I think I'm better off than people who are losing their lives. But at the end of the day as well, when everything is done and when everything is gone, what kind of legacy am I leaving? So life, our fathers went through a hard time, our grandfathers went through a hard time. We shall also go through a hard time. But what matters most is how resilient we remain and what we're able to do within those hard times and make sure that we are creating something for the next generation. So friends, I just want to appreciate you once again for always showing up here to learn something. I do not take it for granted that every Friday you show up here. Some of you have gone ahead to even invite your friends to join the WhatsApp group to be part of the community. You've gone ahead to implement some of the things that you've learned here and there. And some of you, we've seen the transformation that is coming. And that is a kind of dream that we really had when we were starting this community. We want to make sure that our minds are transformed, but we are not just transforming our minds. We are putting into action what we need to be able to do. And of course, we know that when we do when we play our part, and we believe that God will play also his part. So thank you so much, and may God bless you as you get into the weekend. And thanks so much also to our online audience that has joined this through YouTube. May God bless you. In case you joined through a bit late, you can catch the recording on our YouTube channel so that you can be able to go through. We also have, we've done quite a number of sessions this year, over 30 of them now, I think, counting. So in case you've missed any of the sessions on personal branding, public speaking, on leadership, and so on, you can catch it on our channel. Go through, create time over the weekend, or create a time every day, an hour, and learn something. What you consume has a great impact on how you think and the results that you bring. So thank you so much, and may God bless you. Bye-bye.